The creatine mistake everyone over 50 makes. If you're over 50 and thinking about taking creatine, or you're already taking it, this could save you a lot of unnecessary frustration. Creatine is one of the most researched supplements in the world. For adults over 50, it can be especially valuable. As we age, natural muscle mass and strength gradually decline, recovery slows, and energy levels can fluctuate. Creatine has been shown to support strength maintenance, preserve lean muscle, and even assist with cellular energy production in the brain. But here's the issue. Most people over 50 make the exact same mistake with creatine. And surprisingly, it's not about dosage. It's not about whether you take it before or after your workout. It's not even about the brand. It's about mindset. Many adults approach creatine expecting either instant transformation or hidden danger. When the scale shifts slightly from water retention, panic sets in. When lab work shows small creatinine changes, anxiety follows, or they assume creatine alone will rebuild decades of lost muscle without consistent training. The real mistake isn't in the powder, it's in the expectations. So, let's break down the 8 biggest creatine mistakes adults over 50 keep making, and more importantly, how to avoid them so you can actually benefit from it safely and confidently. But before we begin, drop your name and the city you're watching from in the comments below. Alright, let's get started. Number 1, expecting it to reverse aging. Creatine is powerful, but it's not a time machine. Some people over 50 start taking creatine hoping it will restore their 30-year-old strength within a few weeks. They expect the weights to suddenly feel light, joints to feel brand new, and muscle to reappear almost instantly. When that doesn't happen, disappointment sets in quickly. That expectation is the real problem. Creatine supports muscle energy production. It helps regenerate ATP, improves training output, and can enhance recovery between sessions. Over time, that can absolutely help maintain and even rebuild strength and lean mass. But it works within your current reality. It doesn't erase decades of lifestyle habits, it doesn't undo past injuries, and it doesn't reverse years of inactivity overnight. If someone hasn't trained consistently in years, creatine won't bypass the adaptation process. Muscles, tendons, and joints still need gradual progression. Sleep still matters. Protein intake still matters, and smart programming still matters. When expectations are unrealistic, even good progress can feel disappointing. But when expectations are grounded, the results feel encouraging. An extra rep, slightly better recovery, gradual strength returning month by month. Those wins may seem small, but at 50 and beyond, they're meaningful. Creatine is a support tool, not a rewind button. Used with patience and consistency, it can absolutely help you age stronger. Just don't expect it to turn back the clock, expect it to help you move forward. Number 2, ignoring hydration. After 50, hydration becomes non-negotiable. As we age, our natural thirst signals tend to weaken. You may not feel as thirsty as you used to, even when your body actually needs fluids. On top of that, many adults over 50 intentionally drink less water to avoid frequent bathroom trips. The problem? When you add creatine into the mix, hydration becomes even more important. Creatine pulls water into muscle cells. That's part of how it enhances performance and supports recovery. This intracellular hydration is beneficial. It helps muscles function more efficiently. But it also means your overall fluid requirements go up slightly. If water intake doesn't increase to match that shift, subtle symptoms can show up. Mild headaches, low energy, muscle cramps, and a general feeling of sluggishness. These are often blamed on creatine itself, but in many cases, the supplement isn't the issue, hydration is. Adults over 50 are already at a higher risk of mild dehydration, especially if they consume caffeine regularly, exercise in warm weather, or take certain medications. Adding creatine without adjusting fluid intake can amplify that imbalance. The fix is simple, but essential. Drink more water consistently throughout the day, not just around workouts, but morning to evening. If you're supplementing with creatine after 50, hydration isn't optional, it's part of the protocol. When fluid intake is adequate, creatine tends to feel supportive, not problematic. Number 3, letting the scale scare you. That extra pound or two isn't fat, and understanding that can save you from making a very common mistake. When you start taking creatine, one of the earliest changes you might notice is a slight increase on the scale. Usually it's small, 1 to 3 pounds. For many adults over 50 who are watching their weight carefully, that shift can feel alarming. The immediate thought is often, I'm gaining fat, but that's not what's happening. Creatine increases water stored inside your muscle cells. This is called intracellular hydration. It's not bloating under the skin, and it's not body fat accumulation. It's fluid being drawn into muscle tissue, which actually supports strength, endurance during sets, and recovery between workouts. That added water can make muscles look slightly fuller and feel firmer. In fact, it's part of why creatine enhances performance. The mistake happens when people see the scale move and panic. They stop supplementing after just a week or two, assuming something is wrong. In reality, their body is simply adjusting to higher muscle creatine levels. Quitting too early because of a small weight increase is one of the most common errors adults make with creatine, especially after 50, when weight changes feel more significant. The key is context. If your nutrition hasn't changed dramatically and the gain happens quickly after starting creatine, it's almost certainly water, not fat. Don't confuse normal adaptation with failure. Number 4. Not strength training consistently. Creatine needs a reason to work. Taking creatine without resistance training is like buying high-quality tools and never building anything. The tools may be excellent, but without action, nothing changes. Creatine enhances your ability to regenerate ATP during short, intense efforts. That means it shines during resistance training, lifting weights, pushing against bands, doing controlled bodyweight movements, or performing strength-focused exercises. It supports effort, it amplifies output, and it helps you recover between sets. But if there's no stimulus, there's nothing to amplify. After 50, this becomes even more important. Muscle naturally declines with age in a process called sarcopenia. The most effective way to slow or reverse that decline is resistance training. It doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need heavy barbells or intense gym sessions. Even light strength training makes a difference. Body weight squats, wall push-ups, resistance band rows, or light dumbbell presses. These movements send a signal to your muscles. Adapt and stay strong. Creatine supports that adaptation by helping you train with slightly more capacity and recover more efficiently. But without movement, you likely won't notice much benefit. You may store creatine in your muscles, but if those muscles aren't being challenged, performance improvements won't show up. Creatine isn't a passive solution. It's an active enhancer. After 50, pairing even modest strength training with creatine can be powerful. But remember, the supplement supports the work. It doesn't replace it. Number 5. Overdoing it because you feel stronger. Feeling good can trick you, especially after 50. When you start taking creatine and training consistently, you may notice something encouraging. Weights feel lighter, reps feel smoother, and fatigue doesn't hit as quickly. That boost in short-term strength output can be motivating. You might suddenly feel capable of lifting heavier loads or adding more volume to your workouts, and that's where the risk begins. Muscles respond relatively quickly to increased training stimulus. Strength can improve within weeks, but connective tissues, tendons, and ligaments adapt much more slowly. They require steady, progressive loading over time to become stronger and more resilient. If your muscles get stronger faster than your tendons adapt, you create a mismatch. The result isn't immediate catastrophic injury. It's usually subtle at first. Mild elbow irritation, shoulder tightness, knee discomfort. Small warning signs that your connective tissue isn't keeping up with your muscular strength. Creatine isn't causing the issue, rapid progression is. After 50, tissue recovery and adaptation naturally take longer. That makes intelligent progression even more important. Increase weight gradually, add volume slowly, prioritize form over ego, allow recovery days, and incorporate mobility work. Feeling strong is a gift, but it can create overconfidence. Progress gradually, even when you feel capable of more. Sustainable strength isn't built by how fast you can increase intensity. It's built by how long you can train without setbacks. Number 6. Worrying about kidney myths without context. This fear stops many people before they even start. One of the most common concerns, especially for adults over 50, is kidney health. And the confusion usually begins with a single word on a lab report: creatinine. Creatine and creatinine sound similar, but they aren't the same thing. Creatinine is a natural breakdown product of creatine metabolism. Doctors measure creatinine levels in the blood to help assess kidney function. When creatinine levels rise above the standard reference range, it can signal potential kidney stress. Here's where the misunderstanding happens. When you supplement with creatine, a small portion naturally converts into creatinine. That can slightly elevate blood creatinine levels, even when your kidneys are functioning normally. For healthy individuals, this increase does not automatically mean kidney damage. It often reflects supplementation, not dysfunction. But without context, those numbers can look alarming. If a healthcare provider doesn't know you're taking creatine, they may interpret mildly elevated creatinine as a warning sign. That can lead to repeat testing, anxiety, or even unnecessary discontinuation of a supplement that was never causing harm. The solution is simple: communication. Always tell your doctor if you're supplementing with creatine before getting blood work done. Context changes interpretation. When your provider understands the full picture, lab results can be evaluated appropriately. The real issue isn't creatine itself, it's misunderstanding the numbers. And fear rooted in confusion often prevents people from benefiting from something that, for healthy adults, is generally considered safe and well studied. Number 7. Using it to compensate for poor habits. Supplements can't outwork bad sleep. It's tempting to believe that adding the right powder to your routine will compensate for everything else. But if you're sleeping 5 or 6 restless hours a night, eating inconsistently, and pushing through workouts without proper recovery, creatine won't fix that foundation. Creatine enhances your body's ability to produce quick energy, it supports strength output, and may help you recover between sets. But recovery between workouts, that's largely driven by sleep. After 50, sleep quality becomes even more critical. Hormonal shifts, increased stress, and natural aging can already make deep, restorative sleep harder to achieve. Without adequate sleep, muscle repair slows, inflammation rises, and motivation drops. No supplement overrides that biology. Protein intake is another pillar. If your muscles don't have enough amino acids available, they can't rebuild effectively, no matter how strong your workouts feel. Stress management matters too. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which can interfere with recovery and muscle maintenance. Creatine enhances good habits. It doesn't replace them. Think of it as a performance amplifier. If your habits are strong, it helps you get more out of your effort. If your habits are inconsistent, it amplifies very little. After 50, the priorities are clear. Sleep well, eat enough quality protein, manage stress, train intelligently. Once those are in place, creatine can be a valuable addition, but never a substitute for the basics. Number 8. Quitting too soon. This might be the biggest mistake of all. Creatine works through saturation. It builds up inside your muscle cells over time, increasing stored phosphocreatine so your body can regenerate ATP more efficiently during high-intensity effort. That process doesn't happen instantly, and that's where many people get it wrong. Creatine is not a stimulant. You won't feel a sudden surge of energy like you would with caffeine. There's no buzz, no dramatic kick. In fact, during the first week or two, you might not feel anything noticeable at all, aside from a slight increase in water weight. Because of that, many people assume it isn't working. They take it for 7 to 10 days, expect immediate strength explosions, and when that doesn't happen, they stop. But that's often right before the real benefits begin. Muscle saturation typically takes several weeks with consistent daily use, especially without a loading phase. Once saturation is achieved, performance improvements start to become more measurable. Extra reps, slightly heavier lifts, and better consistency across sets. The results are subtle, but they build. Creatine rewards patience. It's a long-game supplement. The benefits come from daily consistency, not short bursts of use. Quitting early because you don't feel it is like planting a seed and digging it up a week later to check if it's growing. Consistency is what makes creatine work. So what's the real creatine mistake everyone over 50 makes? It's not taking too much. It's not taking too little. It's misunderstanding what creatine is supposed to do and reacting emotionally instead of strategically. When used properly, creatine can help support muscle strength, recovery, and daily function as you age, but it works best when paired with hydration, resistance training, and realistic expectations. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you over 50 and currently using creatine? Have you made any of these mistakes before? Drop your experience in the comments. And if you'd like a follow-up video on the safest creatine dosage after 50, how long to take it, or what to monitor in blood work, hit like, subscribe, and let me know. Because staying strong after 50 isn't about doing more, it's about doing it smarter.